Okay.
All right, so we've got that. And I'm getting ready to work with a gal to help me to edit so I can get some of this stuff off of the beginning. I sure would like to do that, you know? All right, so now I'm just going to go get the link, which is right here. Oops, let me get on my page. There we go. And oh, good, we are live. That's awesome. Okay, I got to mute that now and make that bigger so I can copy the link. So just one sec. It's this new workaround because I really do want to get it in my group, not just my timeline. And it
Hmm.
seems like you have to do it this way now. So hold on one sec. And here's my group. So I'm adding it now. All right. So just one second. It's taking a second. It's trying to make up its mind. There we go. So um, paste. All right. And I'll go back and put some little tweaks on that to help everybody know what it is. So
Perfect.
like that. So now I'm going to come back to you, full attention. And awesome. So, welcome, Chelsea. I'm super grateful to be here. Aloha Tuesday to everybody. First, I want to say our hearts and prayers go out to everybody on the East Coast and in Florida. Been thinking a lot about you all. And I lived through a flood, the 1,000-year flood years and years ago. 200 homes were lost. It was very devastating, and it was nothing like what we're seeing now. So I certainly feel it, and sending lots of love and finding ways that we can help. I remember after the fire here in Maui, it's just a difficult time. So if you know people are suffering, I'm so sorry, but we're going to be here to bring a little bit of some comfort in one way or another to you, because that's what I like to do in my group. Specifically, this is live in my group, but also other places. So for my people that like to follow what I have to say and share, they're people that really want to optimize the quality of their life, right? We talk a lot about health span, not just lifespan, but really having that quality of life. And, I had a tragic accident in 2009 and spent a lot of time in pain, and dealt with this idea of chronic pain, and have really done my research and been really involved in my healing journey, to get back to be able to optimize the quality of my life. And of course, I'm always talking about how when we address deficiencies, stress and toxins, things get better. It's when the magic happens. So I'm always like, wanting to connect with people on the path and the journey of sharing their story and how they've dealt with chronic pain and pain, because it's not a good day when you're in pain. It's difficult. And I know people, that are in a lot of pain, and they choose to just grit their teeth and take it and don't even take any kind of medication for it. I'm medication free myself, but I know that when I have extreme pain, like when I broke my leg, there were medications that helped me. I just know that medications really mask the symptoms, and we've got to go deeper. We've got to address the root cause, get those happy cells, get our brain functioning. So when I met Chelsea on these awesome coffee chats things that I do in different groups, of like-minded people, uh, she really intrigued me with her story and how she's been transcending pain. Imagine that. That's the name of her business. And she's going to tell you a little bit about it and what she does to help people. I know that word business makes it sound like, oh, it's a business, but business is really just the exchange of ideas and energy. And I like that much better. And so I like to bring good energy and good ideas. And then also having a mother who passed on from Alzheimer's, I've done some great research and I have great understanding of what need to be doing to fire up those neurons to create new pathways. And so when I spoke briefly to Chelsea, we really haven't had a chance to dive in deeply yet. Um, she talks a little bit about this from a brain standpoint, and that's very important. I really love this idea of the heart,
Hmm.
the whole, heart brain connection. This is very important to me. So I wanted to bring Chelsea on today. We're just going to take a few minutes of your time. If you're live, great. If you're watching the replay, please put replay in there and let us know that you're getting value, because I do this to bring more awesome content and new ideas to you and connect you with awesome people. So we'd love to hear from you. And at the end, Chelsea, we'll put her info below, because obviously in a few minutes we can't do too much, but if you like what she says, we'll make sure you can connect with her at the end. So thank you for taking your time. And Chelsea, thank you for taking your time to be here. We are grateful for people like you out there trying to make a difference. So come and share with everybody about transcending pain.
Yes. Hello, everybody. Thank you, Janice, for having me on. I'm so excited to be here. There is nothing I love more than connecting with other humans and talking about how we can find healing, right? That's just, it lights me up. I could do it all day, every day. I wish I could. So I'm really excited to be here. I'll start by telling you just a little bit about me, my story, how I got here, why I'm doing what I'm doing, and what this whole transcending pain business is all about, right? So, yeah, I suffered from chronic pain for about 30 years, among other chronic health conditions. And my story started at birth, and I was always experiencing some type of chronic symptom, whether it was allergies, headaches, migraines. I ended up, seeking out specialists or being referred to specialists whenever these symptoms would persist. And I would end up with a variety of diagnoses, whether that was chronic migraines or endometriosis, ovarian cyst bursts, POTS, interstitial cystitis. I had mental health diagnoses, OCD, PTSD, bipolar disorder, a lot of things. And every time I was experiencing symptoms, I would go to a doctor, I would receive a diagnosis, I would be prescribed some treatment, whether that was medication, commonly, right? In Western medicine, it always started with medication for me. And then it was, well, let's try some physical therapy, or maybe try some massage therapy, or the chiropractor. I tried Western medicine, alternative medicine. I sought out healing everywhere I possibly could. And over the years, I learned to manage my conditions. And a lot of that did have to do with these holistic practices, and whether that was nutrition and really being mindful of what I was eating, practicing mindfulness and trying things like meditation, and really starting to love on myself a little bit, trying to reduce stress, which we all know, we've been told by everyone forever how stress makes everything worse. And I found a way to seemingly manage, but it seemed like new symptoms would continue to pop up, or I would end up in these really big flares. And sometimes it would take me a long time to get back to just feeling relatively okay. And a lot of my success in life, I found ways to be successful in life, had to do with my mindset. But I was honestly pretty miserable, even though I did have relief here and there, and I found ways to manage my conditions. I just learned not to complain about it, and I learned to find some acceptance. And that's how I lived for several years until I found the mind body approach. And that's how this whole transcending pain started, was coming across the mind body approach and understanding the role of the brain when it comes to chronic pain and symptoms. So I'd like to talk a little bit about that. What is the brain's role in chronic pain and symptoms? And that's where my healing journey really took off. When I started to understand this concept of neuroplasticity. So, neuroplasticity, what is that? That means the brain has this ability to change and reorganize itself based on certain stimuli. It can have this response and change its own structure. So, what happens in chronic pain, and sometimes chronic pain starts out with an injury, sometimes it seems like it comes out of nowhere. But over time, what acute pain turns into and ends up being chronic pain, oftentimes, more often than not, what modern neuroscience tells us is it has to do with the brain actually learning pain. And it creates these pathways in the brain. So let's talk a little bit about that. How do we know this? Where does this idea come from? And how does acute pain turn chronic? So we have this really amazing mechanism called the fight or flight response, this stress response in the body. And it has kept us around for thousands upon thousands of years. Without this stress response, the human species would not be here, right? It is so important. And what the brain does is it tries to figure out how to keep us alive. And it determines whether or not a stimuli is a threat. And if it is a threat, it's going to create these changes in our body to allow us to survive. So let's talk a little bit about what happens when we turn our ankle. If I'm running down the road and I turn my ankle, the brain is going to create pain because it knows it needs to keep me safe. The brain will actually perceive this sensation and this experience of turning my ankle as dangerous. It will create this physiological change in the body, pain, due to the stress response in order to keep me from further damaging the tissue in the ankle. So I'm going to experience pain. I realize, oh, hey, I need to slow down. I need to take a break. I need to rest because I'm in pain, right? This is why pain is so useful because it's protecting us. However, just as the brain can turn on pain, the brain can also turn off pain. Because guess what? If I'm being chased by a lion and I'm running for my life and I trip and turn my ankle, do you think I'm going to experience pain in that moment? No, because the brain knows there's a bigger threat here and pain is going to put her life in danger. So just as the brain can turn off pain, the brain can also, or just as the brain can turn on pain, it can also turn off pain. This is all due to neuroplasticity and the brain's really incredible, just how much power it has in our life to protect us. So the way acute pain and an ankle injury turns chronic is by constantly reinforcing this pathway of pain. And a lot of times that happens due to the stress in our lives. It can be due to our personality, which creates stress. And that pathway, that pain pathway continues to persist. And over time, the brain actually learns pain. And then we get into this pain fear cycle. So we experience pain. We physically, emotionally, mentally experience fear as a result of this pain. When I'm in pain, I'm constantly thinking, oh my gosh, what do I have to do today? Am I going to be able to do that? Am I going to have to cancel on somebody? It creates more stress, which creates more pain, which creates more fear. And then before we know it, we're stuck in this pain fear cycle. Now what? What do we do to get out of this? And for me, yes, nutrition is incredibly helpful and meditation is incredibly helpful. And I have all of these wonderful tools for healing. Unfortunately, when these pathways are ingrained in the brain, nutrition is only going to do so much because I have a pain pathway. So what I have to do is actually retrain the brain and teach it how to process pain differently. And that's what I do now. So, through my own healing journey and retraining my brain to program things differently, I have found healing. And now, what I do is I coach other people how to unlock their own self healing capacity, because we all have this healing within ourselves. So, I teach my clients how to tap into that, to find healing within themselves. And that has to do with education, mindset, and implementation. So, first, what I do with my clients, and whether that's through an individual one-on-one approach or a group approach, it is personalized. I'm going to meet my clients where they're at, and we're going to start with education. What is happening in the brain? What is happening in the body? Because for years and years and years, I was getting all these mixed messages from physicians, chiropractors, physical therapists, psychotherapists. I was getting all these messages and all these theories from all of these people, and it was very, very confusing. So, what I do is try to simplify everything. Let's talk about the science, right? How the mind and the body are connected. This basic understanding of the stress response, the physiological change that happens in the body, and how the brain learns pain. And once we can understand how these systems are intimately connected, then we can start to reprogram by working on our mindset and implementing mind body techniques. So, the basis of everything is really taking responsibility for our healing through a lens of compassion. I gave away my power to everybody for so many years, the doctors and the acupuncturist and the hypnotist and all the different types of, and the supplements and everything I did. Like, I gave away my power to all of these things. Like, you're telling me this is going to fix me? Okay, let's do it. It didn't matter what you told me to do, I was going to do it. What I have found through this mind body approach is I don't have to give away my power, right? Like, I can start to trust myself. And this is what I teach my clients is how to trust themselves to know what is best for them, right? Journaling works very well for some people, not for others, right? Breathing exercises are very soothing and very relaxing for many people. For other people, it causes an intensified state of stress because they already have this self-conscious, you know, view and this mindset, and they've had this belief that they aren't a good breather, and that creates more stress when they're trying to breathe, and then they put pressure on themselves. So breathing exercises work well for others and not so well for others. Same thing with meditation. So what I'm going to do with my clients is I'm going to meet them where they are, give them tools and resources to try to implement different things and see what works for them. And sometimes what works today, sometimes, meditation is great for me. I experience all the benefits of meditation. And then other days I try to meditate and it's not doing it for me. So how can we learn to pivot? And that all comes from having compassion for myself and learning to trust myself. And so that's where what I try to do with my clients. Everything is very personalized. Even in the group option, I do have a personal approach, and I do have an individual session that I do with my clients to really to check in with them, see what's going on with you, what works for you, and how can we pivot, right? So with all of that said, transcending pain is my whole approach, and it's not necessarily about like this intensity to get rid of the pain. It's understanding this relationship with the pain, and when I can understand the relationship I have with pain, then I can transcend it, right? I can find freedom. I don't have to have this identity of being someone with chronic pain. So I really encourage everyone who's listening, if you are struggling with chronic pain or other symptoms, and you've tried all of the things, but you still end up having flares, or maybe you're developing new symptoms, there could be a mind-body component, and you could find benefit from implementing mind-body techniques. This is available to everyone. This isn't a either or. This isn't you see your physician and you do their treatment, you take prescription medication, or you implement a mind body approach. This can be this and so you can take prescription medication and use a mind body approach. You can have a nutrition plan and use a mind body approach. You can go to physical therapy and use a mind body approach. I have a wonderful guide on my website of lots of free resources because this healing is available to everyone. I really encourage you to check it out. If you have questions, if you aren't sure, if this is the right fit for you or not, or you have no experience with the mind body world at all, please reach out to me. I love to talk with you and chat with you and see how I can help you. I really appreciate being on here and talking to you guys. Janice, I'd love to get your thoughts and answer any questions you have.
That was just awesome. And I just love the idea of transcending pain. And I have people that I care very much about in my family that are in pain. And so I be sharing this with them. I talk a lot about, I do the same thing. I'm a resource and I listen and meet people where they're at and then connect them to different various things. And I know in my group and in my followers, I have several awesome hypnotherapists and I have mindfulness coaches and yoga instructors and everybody. And just like you were saying, certain approaches work for certain people work for certain people. And that's why I like to bring a variety to my followers to say, look, find what works for you. Because the important thing is that you do the work so that you can optimize the
Yes.
quality of your life and really spend your years feeling better, right? We don't have to get worse. We can get better. And I like that concept. And I just love supporting entrepreneurs, females out there doing it like you. I really love it because I've been one for many, many years. And I think it's the way to go because we can find our passion. You're clearly passionate about it. And in that, you're making a difference. And when you wake up with purpose and a way to make a difference, we're so much happier. So, kudos to you for following your passion. I don't think maybe I missed it, but where are you located, Chelsea? I know we're
Oh,
virtual, but
yes.
where?
I'm in Kentucky.
That's right. I knew you were, I thought you were in Kentucky. I just wanted to make sure. I didn't want to say it and be
Yes.
wrong. Um, I love, I love Kentucky. I love bluegrass music, as people know. And I love that whole way of life and how kind everybody is there. So it's fun that you can be in Kentucky and I can be in Maui and we can
I
still share,
know.
right? The healing love. And I'm just so
Yes.
grateful that you found your way out. The question I have is, because I've worked with different hypnotherapists, and then I know you mentioned a little bit about that, but when you talk about the actionable work, um, the mind body work, of course, I've done a lot of that too, but so I know you said breathing works for some, meditation, journaling. Um, is there anything that kind of distinguishes you? Because I know when we get into the subconscious work, we're going deep, right? And we're finding things we might not
Right.
even been aware of. So
Yes.
is that a part of what you do, or do you refer that out, or what?
Yes, absolutely. So, in what I specialize in is mind body syndrome and pain reprocessing therapy. And the idea of mind body syndrome has to do with the cause of physical symptoms being stress or repressed emotions and really being able to get in touch with our emotions. So we definitely explore that. I am not a trained psychotherapist. I definitely practice within my scope and refer people out if necessary. However, there are a lot of things that come to the surface when We do different exercises. And if a client is really feeling in that moment, they want to share something with me, whether it is maybe just an everyday life stressor, or maybe a repressed emotion surfaces or a traumatic event surfaces in session. I am willing to go wherever my clients feel they want to go with me. And then, as far as the pain reprocessing therapy goes, it is a newer modern technique used to reprogram the brain that utilizes somatic tracking and it being able to experience sensations in the body. So there is a somatic piece to that as well. That is, I think, the pain reprocessing therapy. It is a new modality. There's a lot of hope. There's a really amazing study that happened recently compared to your normal traditional treatment for pain. And it's really exciting how much people have improved by just reprogramming the brain to process things differently.
And that's why I'm a huge fan of somatics and have been utilizing the principles in my healing journey myself. And the idea too of soft tissue massage. I've been really introduced to that lately with one of my friends here who's a wellness professional. The other thing I just want to close with is, so then, of course, in my group, there's a lot of wellness professionals that you'll be able to connect with that will watch this and connect with you, and can be great resources to each other. So I encourage you, many of the people I've interviewed in here have made connections and created energy exchanges. You can see them. I
Love
will
that.
pin, yes, me too. I will pin this in the featured of my group. I'll put this on my YouTube as well, and reach out to Chelsea. Try to explore how you can work together, or support each other in this healing journey. I always am talking about with our company, Isogenics, we are trying to create the healthiest community on earth. We're really doing a great job at that. And so I really love bringing people into this arena of the idea of optimizing our quality of life, right? It's not just settling for it. And you don't have to ask your doctor. I loved what you said about don't give your power away. I'm really excited that there's a real movement to get these commercials off TV that tell you to go ask your doctor. I love doctors. I am not against doctors. I'm not a doctor. We need doctors. But I just feel like people have given away their power to this idea that I have to ask somebody else. So we have an
Mhm.
awesome lady in this group too that I follow, Bess McCarty. She teaches people about inner guidance, and some other people that I'm working with all about inner guidance. Kim Conway. This is important to listen to your inner guidance. So I love that you're doing that. We have some great energy in the group. I hope you'll connect. People reach out to Chelsea. She'll put her information below. And I just appreciate it. We're right at 30 minutes. Is there anything you'd like to close out with?
I just want to say thank you, everyone. Do not discount your own capacity to heal because we all have it within ourselves. So, sending love and blessings to everybody. I look forward to connecting. You can find me at Transcending Pain on the socials and my website, transcendingpain.com, which I'll put in the comments. But I look forward to connecting and healing together. Thank you,
Yay.
Janice.
Well, thank you so much, and sending lots of love Kentucky way. I hope you're not affected by any of these storms. And we'll close out sending lots of love and healing to everybody there. They're going to need it. It's a long road, but it's part of the journey, I guess. So you take care, Chelsea, and thank you for being in the group. And I'm sure people will watch the replays and reach out to you because you have a great story.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.